So where did the name Amazon come from?
Earth's biggest river, Earth's biggest selection.
Okay, that seems simple. Was that an easy choice, or were there other candidates?
Well, the first name I named it Cadabra. It's really hard to impress upon you how small this beginning was. But when I was driving to Seattle, I wanted to hit the ground running. I wanted to have a company incorporated, and I wanted to have bank accounts set up. And so I called a friend, and he recommended his lawyer to me. It turned out this guy was actually his divorce attorney. But this guy incorporated the company for me and set up bank accounts. And he said, I need to know what name you want the company to be for the incorporation papers. And I said, this is over the phone, I said, Cadabra, like abracadabra, but I just said Cadabra. And he said, Cadaver? And I was like, okay, that's not going to work. And but I'm like, go ahead with Cadabra for now, and I'll change it. And so like 3 months later, I changed it to Amazon.
Okay. So what propelled you to sell things more than books? I mean, obviously, if you're only selling books today, you wouldn't be the richest man in the world, presumably. It's the idea that you're selling other things. When did you first get the idea to sell other things?
After books, we started selling music, and then we started selling videos. And then I got smart, and I emailed 1,000 randomly selected customers and asked them, besides the things we sell today, what would you like to see us sell? And that answer came back incredibly long-tailed. People said, basically the way they answered the question was with whatever they were looking for at that moment. So like I remember one of the answers was, I wish you sold windshield wiper blades because I really need windshield wiper blades. And I thought to myself, we can sell anything this way. And then we launched electronics and toys and many other categories over time. And the vision became, because you read the original business plan, it's just books.
Well, in 1997, you went public.
Yeah.
And the value of the company was under $1 billion then, maybe 600 million or something.
Three something, I think.
Right.
At our IPO.
So.
And then went underwater for a while.
Right. Your stock at one point, I think, went to $100, but then it went down to $6 or something like that.
At the peak of the internet bubble, our stock peaked somewhere around $113. Okay. And then after the internet bubble, busted open, our stock went down to 6. It went from 113 to 6 in less than a year. So my annual shareholder that year starts with a one-word sentence, and that one-word sentence is the word ouch.
So most of those internet companies of the dot-com era are out of business.
Yeah.
You survived. What was it that made you to survive, and virtually the rest of them are gone?
Well, that whole period is very interesting because the stock is not the company, and the company is not the stock. And so as I watched the stock fall from 113 to 6, I was also watching all of our internal business metrics, number of customers, profit per unit, everything you can imagine, defects, etc. Every single thing about the business was getting better and fast. And so as the stock price was going the wrong way, everything inside the company was going the right way. And we didn't need to go back to the capital markets. We didn't need more money. The only reason, a financial bust like the internet bubble bursting makes it really hard to raise money. But, we already had the money we needed. So we just needed to continue to progress.
Well, Wall Street kept saying, well, Amazon's not making any money. They're just getting customers. Where's the profits? Where are the profits? And Wall Street kept beating you up on that. And your response was, I don't really care what you think?
Well, I was on television with Tom Brokaw. He pulled together half a dozen internet entrepreneurs from that era. This is, I think it was right before the bubble burst, maybe, or right after, I can't remember, but in that area. And he was interviewing all of us, and he finally turned to me, and he said, Mr. Bezos, can you even spell profit? And Tom, by the way, Tom Brokaw is now one of my good friends, but he's like, can you even spell profit? And I said, sure, P-R-O-P-H-E-T. And he burst out laughing. But look, Amazon was, people always accused us of selling dollar bills for 90 cents. And said, look, anybody can do that and grow revenues. That's not what we were doing. We always had positive gross margins. It's a fixed cost business. And so what I could see is that from the internal metrics is that at a certain volume level, we would cover our fixed costs and the company would be profitable.
So who came up with the idea of Prime? Prime seems to be a great way to get money in advance of people actually getting the services.
Yeah.
Whose idea
Actually,
was that?
it's very interesting. So like many inventions inside of a team, and I love team inventing is my favorite thing. So I tap dance into the office. I love Amazon. I have so much fun there. I love Blue Origin, I love the Washington Post, but Amazon is my full-time job. And I get to invent, I get to live 2 to 3 years in the future. And most of the invention we do there is, somebody has an idea and then other people improve the idea and other people come up with objections why it can never work, and then we solve those objections, and it's a very fun process. Prime, there were a couple of things. One of our board members, Bing Gordon, always wanted us to have a loyalty program, and he would bring this up at every board meeting. And and the loyalty programs that we would think about were things like frequent flyer mile programs, which don't really work in a business like Amazon, in my opinion. There are a lot of reasons that they work for airlines, but that's different. And there are structural differences. So we kept thinking, but we're always wondering, what could a loyalty program be? And then actually kind of a junior software engineer came up with this idea, not as a loyalty program, but this idea that we could offer people kind of an all-you-can-eat buffet of fast, free shipping. And when we modeled that, so then the finance team went and modeled that idea. And the results were horrifying. That we would offer unlimited shipping. Shipping is expensive. And customers love free shipping. So at this point, we already had something called free Super Saver shipping, where we would, in exchange for letting the product go very slow to you, and in exchange for having a certain minimum order threshold size, then you could get free shipping. But this was going to be no order threshold, so you could buy a single $20 item or a single $10 item, and free 2-day shipping. And when we modeled this, it didn't look pretty. But we could see, again, back to that, you have to use heart and intuition. There has to be risk-taking. You have to have instinct. All the good decisions have to be made that way. You do it with a group. You do it with great humility. Because, by the way, getting it wrong isn't that bad. That's the other thing. When we make mistakes, and we've made doozies like the Fire Phone and many other things that just didn't work out, we don't have enough time for me to list all of our failed experiments. But the big winners pay for thousands of failed experiments. So you try something like Prime, and it was very expensive at the beginning. It cost us a lot of money, because what happens when you offer a free all-you-can-eat buffet? Who shows up to the buffet first? The heavy eaters. It's scary. It's like, oh my God, did I really say as many prawns as you can eat? Oh. And so that is what happened. But surely we could see the trend lines. We could see that all kinds of customers were coming, and they appreciated that service. So that's what led.